Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Oh, it's nice to see you.
Welcome back to another episode of We've Got This Maybe, the podcast. Woo-hoo.
Yep, our audition tape for Wicked got lost in the post, Erin.
I know, so before we start, I'm having this thought the other day. I've been watching this new thing on Netflix. It was this programme about Charlie Sheen, you know.
Oh,
Two
I
and a
saw
Half
that, a
Men.
doco, yeah.
Yeah, and I always find it amazing that they can bring out these programmes and there's hundreds of hours of B-roll from various stages of these people's lives, right? Before they were even famous.
Yeah.
Like, if you asked somebody for videos of me, say I make it in life and you want to make a documentary about me, there'd be nothing.
Really?
There'd be nothing for all of these random events and random occasions, enough to create a documentary out of.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I would probably argue that I'm the opposite. There's probably too much and very dangerous footage. And I think that's just because my family were obsessed with, recording the memes.
But when you were a
memories.
child.
Yeah. So we had quite a lot of cines and, like the big VHS, like cameras that you think, video cameras and things. So
I do love that. That is the one thing I like about, watching those sort of programs, is like seeing life before people were.
Yeah.
Seeing life before
fascinating.
people were famous.
Yeah.
That's my little what I've been up to.
What you've been
week.
watching.
Yeah.
Recommendation for the podcast.
Well, listen, a little bit of Charlie Sheen. I love a factual program. So we like to watch a lot of those sort of like docuseries or like any like sporting programs where they talk about how people have got where they are, or like team success or stuff like that. I like those sort of things.
Yeah, it's really interesting though, because obviously we all start at the same point, right? We all,
Oh, yes. And this is a conversation, right, for another day. And it's not what we're talking about today, guys, but we're just going to land this one here. Is, in these programs when they talk about like the pushy parent, and would that child have made it had it not been for the pushy parent? And, the child probably hated it for so long, but now it's paying them dividends.
Yeah, well, it's like every time, when you were little, every time you tried broccoli, you didn't like it until you liked it.
Yeah.
So,
So then you get good at it or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, not the conversation for today. No. The conversation that we're having, and interesting because it's like what we said out. Oh, what are we talking about today? This is what we're talking about today. Decision making. Mm-hmm. How good are we at making decisions?
And the problem is with life is that you need to make decisions, and being a grown-up sucks because you have to be the one to be responsible for the decisions.
Yeah, and that's part of it, I think, is maybe it's easy to make decisions when there's like nothing at stake.
That's exactly the phrase I was thinking.
So
when nothing's at stake. But when you become a grown-up and there's legal, financial, emotional, physical implications on decisions you're making. And then obviously as a parent, there's, oh my God, I mean, that's just a whole nother realm of like anxiety.
But that's the thing, when you feel like you're like making the best decision. So an example that I've got, right? So for a few years in a row, when we've gone on holiday to Dubai, we've four of us, we've always booked the 4 rows at the back, the middle seats. And every time we've flown, aisles, like on the aisle sides, because it's like 3 rows, have always been empty. So we've sort of split up and gone onto the side, but you can't guarantee that sort of seating arrangement. Sure. So last time we went, we were like, oh, we'll be really savvy and we'll just book those like aisle rows. No one will sit between us because it's always empty at that part of the plane. We'll just book 2 seats, leave one in the middle and 2 separate rows so everyone can lie down. It'll be perfect. Of course, the one time we book it like that, there's a problem with the plane, there's a change. They have to remove like 6 rows from the back of the plane, like they out of bounds, so our rows. So they shove everyone around, and then there is not one single vacant seat on that plane. So we're flying a night flight. We've got me and Freddie in one row with some randomer next to us, Rory and Max in the other row, one randomer next to them. No one can lie down, not one single available seat. And Rory is like absolutely kicking himself. Like, I knew we should have stuck with our 4 seats because at least we would have then all been together. And it's like, but we made that decision based on our previous experience that told us that would have worked. And now you feel so guilty. In what we ended up doing, we ended up paying for the people that were the third people on both our rows to get upgraded so they could move out of our rows.
Stop it. Did you?
We did. Not upgrade to anything special, but like upgrade to like the premium seat.
Yeah.
So the kids could lie down and sleep overnight.
Yeah.
But we had no other choice because it wasn't, it was just not feasible any other which way to work it. And we were just like so frustrated that we didn't like just go with how we'd always done it. But you take a hunch and see, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Haven't made that decision this time though. We're just going to stick with our 4 C's and hope for the best. But
I guess you never quite know what's going to happen. So you have, and this again, obviously if I had £1 for every time I said it, but it's trusting your gut. And like you're saying about previous flights, previous things that you've done in the past, it's always, worked. But unfortunately, sometimes that one thing will happen. There's plenty of instances. I mean, this year, if you think of what happened to Lawrence earlier this year, just for the listeners, Lawrence had some surgery, and I remember very, very clearly, it's going to be etched into my brain. This anaesthetist was stood telling us that this one thing could happen. It's 1 in 100, but this is a, in and out procedure. It's very simple, la, la, la. Lawrence was that 1%. And we nearly lost him. Thank goodness we didn't. But you can plan all you want, but some things are always not inevitable, but they're always a risk. They always could happen. And I think that's part of the anxiety that people, endure, is the fact that what if? And I mean, it's like trusting your gut and just going, okay, well, I'm basing this on some really good information.
And it's being responsible.
Yeah, so making wise choices.
Okay, in like normal circumstances, like what sort of decision maker would you say you are? Like historically or present day, like are you like all in a go-getter, or are you like an on the fence sort of person, let somebody else decide?
I mean, it depends what day it is. It depends what hour it is. It depends what mood I'm in. Everything and anything. I think in life, I tend to be I plan, and Lord knows I love a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets control my life. And I need them. And I need to forecast, and I need to like make sure I'm planning ahead, etc. But then at the same time, I live with a chronic condition, and fatigue is one of those main symptoms. And when I'm feeling really low, I can't even make a decision of what I need to put in the washing machine next. It's really, really taxing. And those who do live with a condition which fatigue's a symptom, that they will know this brain fog that comes. So even just the decision of should I get up or not now is a big one. So I think there is a huge spectrum depending on so many different factors. I try to be organized, and I think that's probably why as well.
And that's probably why it's really frustrating, because when you're that sort of person that is so used to like being on top of everything, when that's taken away from you, you almost feel like at a loss. Like, who is this person? Like, I'm not like being me. Like, I would say, like, historically, I've always been like a decision maker, a control person in a lot of decisions. I always quite like to lead on things, and I have done. But I would say certain things, like how you were saying, maybe I've always sort of been happy to follow other people. And more so now, I find it, sometimes quite difficult, like to make a decision, because I don't want to, like disappoint somebody, or the worry that it's going to end up in a negative situation. Like that plane situation I said right at the start, is I almost don't want to bear the responsibility of that going wrong for everyone. And funnily is like Rory is a little bit the same with that as well. Like, he likes to be in control with certain things. Like, he's very particular about the things he likes to be in control of. But there are some things as well that I know he wants to make the decision, but he doesn't want to call it. So he'll almost
interesting.
like tell me what it is that he wants to do, so I make the ultimate decision, so he hasn't made the decision.
That's so interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I know. So one of my friends, and I shall leave them nameless, but we know as their friend, and I mean the group of us, we know that they will never make a decision because they don't want it to ever be their fault if something's bad or something goes wrong or something happens. So they'll never like decide the wine in a restaurant or decide where we're going. You know, they'll never plan their birthday. They want someone else to plan their birthday.
Okay.
They want someone else to buy them gifts. They don't want to tell us what gifts they want. Like, all this stuff, it's like they're scared of owning, you know, if something went wrong.
See, that's really funny though, right? Because I can never tell anybody what I want for a gift.
Really?
Oh
my God, I'm like, I don't want tut. I will tell you the list.
I really struggle with that. Okay, we might be going a little bit deep now, but I struggle to tell people a lot of things that I like want in like lots of different circumstances. Read into that as you wish. But like presents, for example.
Yeah.
If someone says, "What do you want?" Sometimes I've got it like on the back of my tongue, right? And I want to say it, but I can't. Or if somebody says like, "Oh, tell me what you like," or just anything, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's almost like a freeze, and I've just done it like a butt clench, like I can't, I can't get it out.
But this is interesting because I think this is linked to, you know how you said, I've just pointed out your podcast for that. It was a bit aggressive of me, wasn't it? Put that finger away. Can you remember way back when, I do not know which episode, you were saying how if someone asked you to describe yourself, you couldn't?
Yes. I wonder something good about yourself. Yeah. Something interesting about you.
Know?
Yeah, I find that really difficult. So I do struggle to articulate stuff like that. And I'm thinking of that friend you were just saying, I'm like, oh, why is that? What's the similarity there? Like,
it's a fear of failure. It's a fear of
But why asking for a gift or being able to tell somebody what you want is failure? Because like I sometimes then say, like, let's take the gift as example. I'm always like you choose like whatever you want. Like, am I testing somebody? Like, am I trying to see what they'd want, or do I not want to put undue pressure on somebody to get me that specific thing? And
so I mean, again, this is an assumption, right? But again, if you think about it, it's feel of failure in a way of like, if I ask them for this gift, how are they going to judge me on what I've just asked for? If I ask for this gift, are they going to like get me the right one? Is it going to be good enough? Am I going to be good enough for the gift? Like, there's lots of different exchanges.
Am I make them feel bad then if they can't get me that or get me the wrong thing?
Yeah. Again, it's that people-pleasing side of, I think, kind of growing up, is there's something about compromising yourself for others. You know, when we were talking about before, and I said about that dream, about the fact that I would always give myself up over everybody else. And I think it comes back to that notion that we obviously, and again, oh my goodness, it goes back to the generational trauma. But again, it goes to that space where, you know, we were brought up to be seen and not heard. We were, you know, it was always someone else's go, not our go. We would wait back. We would always be told, you know, let them go first. You know, that was always the way we were told. So again, I think that plays into it all, you know. And again, because I was where you were. I'd never want to tell people what I wanted. I felt really bad about telling people what I wanted because, again, like, I didn't want them to get me something and it make them feel bad or them judge me or them not approve. I don't know, the lots and lots of different, like, you know, swirly things in my head. But now it's kind of like don't get me wrong, it's hard. But I own it. Like, I really try and
be assertive with it. And I think you're right about the people-pleasing things. You'll remember that conversation we had also about, you know, being at someone's house and them saying, "Oh, do you want to have a drink?" No,
then you went,
yeah. And I just really struggle to say if it's what I want. And, you know, maybe I do need to be more assertive and not worry. about what's coming out of it.
And that's the thing. It's the anxiety that comes with, again, I think when you are a people pleaser, when you've grown up as a people pleaser, it will eke back into your life every now and then and it'll trip you up. So, I know Erin as a really confident, lovely, bubbly, clever, really assertive person. Okay,
thank you.
Her head can now fit in the room. But I can see also that you struggle with stuff, but that's being a friendship, right?
Yeah,
this is what being in a friendship is. But there's, it surprises me every time you say things like this, because again, I think there's a mask we all try and wear to go, yeah, no, it's fine. Like I can totally and especially when you think about, having to plan with the kids, the holidays, the meals, the outfits, their clothes, their what's going to happen at Christmas? Okay, well, when are we going to see who, where, how, what time, where? All right, if we go there, then we can make it in half an hour to go there. All these things that we're trying to do, we're trying to manage life, which means that I think we don't have enough space for like the big kind of personal decisions.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, at what point in my life did I flip over? Because there are some times where I do remember being quite assertive in situations, and there must have been something that's happened along the way. Interesting. So in your family dynamic or whatever, are there certain decisions that you make, bog standard, basic, everyday decisions, or more serious decisions? And are there some things that Lawrence decides on, who leads on what?
Yeah, I think there are naturally different areas of decision making that I tend to take hold of, and then others that he does particularly. I mean, I think it depends on also your own sort of talents and experience, really. I've been very fortunate this is the fifth house I've owned.
Oh, wow.
So again, I've been through sort of I know what I need to do. I know it's kind of clockwork in my head, whereas Lawrence is a bit unsure. So he lets me take the lead on insurance and, repairs and stuff like that, because he doesn't know how to fix a shower. All that kind of stuff.
Although you're a pro.
I mean, YouTube and me are best friends when it comes to this stuff. But again, whereas things like car repairs, and it does sound very genderized, but things that tend to be around electronics, tech. He bought my new phone, stuff like that. Whereas, I mean, I would spend weeks researching, going on which.co.uk. I shouldn't have promoted that anyway. Yeah. But all these different places I would be researching because I don't know.
Yeah.
Whereas he knows.
And I think it depends what you like as well. Rory is that person. He's like you. So if you ever want to know what the best thing is, he'll know because he's done the research. Whereas, I'll be looking at different reasons to buy something. Obviously, cost probably being one, aesthetics being another, lots of different things. Whereas he will know what is the best thing. He would have done all the research. So I think in our relationship, there are certain things that I just say to him now, you decide, because not that I necessarily care on having that one or I care one way or the other, but I know it means more to him than it does to me.
So that's really interesting. So you're handing over decisions because it would what to him? Because he knows better, or because
it's yeah. Yes, he probably no. Yes, he probably does know better because he's researched it. But the situation means more to him. Would I have spent X hundreds of pounds on that when I can see the value in X, because those are the functions I use, right? Prime example, I was looking to buy a new toothbrush, right? Nice little Oral-B toothbrush.
Love it.
They've got 9 versions of the same toothbrush, right? So I'm looking, I was looking at model number 3. It's got, all of those functions I would use. I don't want number 2 because I want that specific function. So I'll go for number 3.
Yeah.
Whereas if I said that to Roy, he'd be like, no, just get number 9. And I'm like, but I don't need all of those functions and pay £100 more for it. Yeah. I only need these. Yeah, but Erin, that one's better.
So what's his value on better? That's an interesting, what qualifies as better? Because this is the thing as well. If you think about it, it's like with phones and things like that. So, certain brands of phones, and there's normally one way or the other that you see.
Yeah.
And, I'm a Mac user. And Lawrence is like, oh, so you're going to get an iPhone? And I was like, no, I want to get the best phone, like you're saying about what I need it to do. Don't just assume because it's the best phone out there that I'm going to get one. And again, I think lots of people kind of think the best is safest. It's a bit like on wine lists. People, that whole formula of like how you work out which wine you want to buy.
Yeah.
You don't go for the most expensive. You don't go for the cheapest. You go somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And again, depending on your taste, blah, blah, blah. But it's that whole thing that you make a call based on your own values. So like, obviously your values there are based on what I need directly. Whereas Rory's looking at the better functionality, the better tech.
Yeah.
The more forward thinking that might last longer because it won't, the legacy of tech won't catch up to it type of thing.
Even if you're not going to use it. Yeah. And I think that's the difference. But if it means a lot to him, then I let him do it. Like a lot of things with like holidays now, I let him lead on because he researches a lot. Whereas historically, previous stages of my life, I would have been leading on every single thing. And now I just do sort of like the fringe things to do with holidays, and he's on it, and that's fine. Like, whatever.
Has that changed then with you saying that you used to do it? That sort of has evolved, has it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, prior to Rory, since Rory and I have been together, he's very much like led on things, because was just he was always like really into stuff like that. Whereas like prior to Rory, like with friends or partners or even anything that I'd done, like I would be the lead. So, and I think I always just assumed a position of control. Yeah. And sometimes that is a conversation that comes up between Rory and I, whereas he'll be like, in previous relationships that you had, like, young relationships, like not even serious really, that I was with people that were not men that would take control and own a situation. Yeah. So I was in it. And now maybe I struggle with not having that control.
I completely hear you. I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, okay.
So I've got a really good story. Basically, in COVID, when we were allowed out for our hour a day.
Oh, yes.
And I remember I was very overwhelmed because I had severe in the November. We went into lockdown in the March. And I remember a couple of months in, Sophia went out for our hour's walk and, came back. And every time we'd come back, Lawrence would never want to go. He'd never offer to go. He'd never kind of take the baby. He'd never sort of, there's lots of things that Lawrence wouldn't do. And I'm just there going, oh my God, do I have to do it all? Oh my God, do I have to do everything? He's not doing anything. Why is he being so selfish? So in my head, I'm like, how dare he?
Yeah.
I'm getting really angry. And anyway, so we had a massive blowout, a huge blowout about it. It's our biggest argument to date, which obviously is touch wood.
No.
But, a huge screaming match. And I was like, you don't do anything. You haven't done anything. It's always me. I always have to do everything. I always have to think about everything. I always have to do everything. You never even take the baby out for the walk. And he sat there and he looked at me and he waited for me to finish. And I was getting irate because he wasn't responding. And he goes, but Vix, you don't let me. You don't let me do anything. And I was like, how do I know? I do everything. He's like, exactly. He said, you never let me try. You never let me have a go.
Which is then he backs off.
So he backs off because I've got it. You're sort of like that Bugs Bunny character, when you're here, there and everywhere doing everything at the month.
And I think we've had this conversation or lightly touched on it before is, you almost block people out by trying to do it. And I was very much like that with the children as well. Like Freddie especially, like first baby, it was almost like proving to myself that I could do something that he was like, well, you've got it under control, Erin. Like, I don't want to step on your toes sort of thing. Yeah. And it's a bit like you're then wanting somebody to help you or take it off and vice versa.
Yeah, but I wasn't communicating. I wasn't communicating with them. I wasn't playing as a team. And what was weird was because we had George and Maxwell when they were little and we were absolutely co-parents. We were team parenting. Whereas as soon as Sophia came, because it was like a young, I don't know why, to be fair, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just embrace it, just took the whole thing. And ever since that day, I have always kind of caught myself. I've tried to catch myself, and I've always caught, sometimes when I'm overbearing, when I'm over controlling something. And now, like you're saying about the holidays and things like that, that's something, like you're saying about handing that over to him type of thing. I want to do the holidays, but I know I can't do everything.
Yeah. And nor should you.
And nor should I. So quite rightly, I want to, I oversee day-to-day life. I'm the one that kind of makes sure that Sophia's got the right uniform. She's fed, that, the laundry's done type of thing. Although he will do the laundry if he sees it there. But again, we've had to communicate that between us.
Not like an intentional, I'm going to do this, or this is just in my rota.
Yeah. And there's certain things now where I've handed them over to Lawrence, and in terms of like I was saying about house insurance and car insurance and things like that. So I now still do the house insurance, but I've handed over car insurance to him because he does all the car stuff. And I'm like, okay, Vix, you can allow, like it's not that you have to do everything. You can allow someone else to help. So again, relinquishing that sort of responsibility is quite big for me. It's a really difficult thing to do. But I've had to recognize that, not weakness, but that sort of, controlling sort of mentality. And I've had to, because otherwise it just doesn't work. You burn out, you stress out, you resent them for things they don't even know they're being resented for. There's lots of things that come with that if you don't communicate and you don't have that open conversation about, look, this cannot.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it, like, as we said already, it's the pressure of getting it wrong. Like, for one of my biggest things that is the same as, like, if somebody often asks me a direct question as well, I can really struggle to give an answer. And I don't know why that is. So, typical one, we may have said this before, I can't actually remember. If somebody says, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that? I'd say medium.
Go right in, bang in the centre.
But I wouldn't say 5. I wouldn't say, if you said, how hard was that between 1 and 10?
Yeah.
I'd be like, medium hard.
Oh my God.
Like, it's almost like a brain block.
Yeah,
like,
that's interesting.
I just can't commit to saying what it is.
Yeah, that's really interesting. A paramedic would find you a nightmare because you're supposed to give that pain.
But that's the thing. Like, and I really struggle to say,
really,
to knuckle it down to something or other. And I don't know why. Is it because if I say 5, like, what does that mean? If I say this, what does it mean? So, like, even like really funny, like weird decisions about something basic, I just struggle with. But at work, in a work environment, it's very different. All I'm doing is making decisions.
Yeah.
Or like being pragmatic, or taking a view, or any of those sort of things. So I find that quite easy.
But is this because, and again, it's like a big kind of, it's a rhetorical thing, but is this because now in life there are too many decisions to make, and we have only got so much decision-making capacity? So like you say, like the big things, like at work, you've got to make decisions. That's part of your role. That's part of your job. That's why you get paid. That's why, you do what you do. As a parent, you have to make decisions. Otherwise, the children are just going to...
Decision fatigue.
But
that's it. But then sometimes I get, and I don't know if you ever get this, you get that feeling of YOLO. It's like...
Oh, God, yeah. Like, I am the worst.
Like, it usually hits me after, like, a couple of gin and tonics or got a glass of wine or something like that, and I'm with a friend and I'm like, F it. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And then I go one of two ways. I either like really follow through and we're going to do it, or they're messaging me the next day being like, we're going to do it. And I'm like, are we going to do it? Like, my biggest thing now is I absolutely know I'm going to rock up with a little tiny tattoo somewhere after something fun that we've done, because that's just in my mind about like doing something like outrageous. Like, I've got friends that they would always have a story to tell. Like, there would always be that like YOLO decision making. Like, they just would never think twice about doing it. It'd be like, I'm just going to do this now and it's going to be great. And then you've got the people on the other side that are just always like considering it. Do you know what I mean? Like there is always a thought behind every action, which then often takes the fun out of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, I think you can't, I think it's, oh man, it's so difficult, isn't it? I think there's something about being true to yourself. There's something about like, you know, not, I know that other people look cool because they're doing this, that, and the other, but there'll be certain fallouts that they have that you don't have because of the way you act or whatever. You just got to live true to who you are. And, you know, sometimes you make shit decisions.
Well,
we all have done it. We've all made really bad decisions. And yeah, okay, fine. There are some more riskier decisions than others and some are safer to make bad choices in. But do you know what? We've just got to own it and go, do you know what? That was a real shitter. Shouldn't have done that. But hey, okay, I know for next time.
But how do you teach like the decision-making skill, right? Because the children now are at that peak, wanting to take control, needing to be more assertive and needing to make those decisions. You know, we were just talking before we started about, you know, what you're having for dinner, what you're having for this. It's like, at what point do we allow them to take control, make their own decisions so they learn how to do it and feel comfortable and confident in being assertive? Like my biggest fear is that we try and control our kids so much because it's easier for us. We dictate to them what they do, what they eat and all of this, that they then become adults who have no idea how to process that decision.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really important one. I think there is something about setting a boundary where, and again, I don't know, like this is just what we do, but with Sophia, we try and set boundaries around decision making.
Yeah, choice. Yeah.
So we have like, you know, you can, like tonight, she didn't want to go to bed, and I said, look, you can't have your iPad anymore. You've run out of time. You know, we don't have iPads after dinner. She got really upset, and I was like, look, you can do one or two things. You can read a book, or you can go play. So it's kind of like giving them the direction, but then them having a choice of something. Yeah. And then again, once they get into that, they can choose their books, they can choose the toys that they play with. But again, it's like giving them sort of a really simple choice to make, and but them owning that decision.
But this is then the conflict, like in our house, you know, I say at the moment, this has been going on for a little while now, where like Rory would say to me, you're giving them too much choice. You know, they're acting spoiled or they're acting this way because they've got too much choice. Whereas for me, I'm like, we're picking between like Shelley pasta or penne pasta. Like it's like it makes no difference to me, but it means something to them.
It means they can have control. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Yeah,
and I don't think that's a bad thing. Whereas like Rory would be like, they're so spoiled or they're acting like a brat because you give them choice.
I don't know. I think they need to learn it at this young age, but not big decisions. Like, you know, I mean, a good example is Sophia and her birthday. Right?
Oh no, not the birthdays already. So I don't want these chats again.
And so again, I'm saying to her, there's some big choices that surround a birthday, particularly, you know, she's turning 6.
Guest list.
We're at that transition stage of, do we go whole class or do we go smaller to go like
bigger?
Well, yeah, like more sort of
bougie.
More cost per child.
Yeah, fine bougie.
And again, how do you navigate that with her? Because she's telling me, I mean, you know what the kids' brains are like. Yeah. You know, one minute we got her down to choosing between now let me get this right. It was a Pokemon party, a Dua Lipa concert.
Oh, yeah, my vote.
A K-pop Demon Hunters party.
Yeah, okay, fine, I'm down.
So again, I got her down to those 3 things, and I was like, okay, I can work with those. I can, you know, keep distilling down and kind of so we figure it out. And then I was asking, who do you want to come, and all these kind of things. And it just blew her mind. She could not do it.
But it's when they say one thing and then they want to do something else after you've part planned it.
Oh yeah, well it's like I asked her the other night. We got down to those 3 things, and I thought, right, I can work with them. And then we got I'm not joking, 10 minutes later we're on the phone to my dad, because Dad was asking her kind of how her day was and stuff. And I said, oh, Grandpa, you'll guess what Sophia's decided on her birthday? We're going to have like a party. And he's like, oh, what are you going to do, Sophia? And she goes, I'm going to have a kitten party. I'm like, So I'm like, okay, back to the drawing board.
Oh, stop.
So again, it's like some things just blow their minds, and it's like you can't give them that
you don't
choice.
just have to tell them, and they're going to enjoy it anyway.
Exactly. So it's like there's certain choices you don't want to give them because they're not ready. But then I think the penny and the shells, I think that's perfect. That's a great way of, do you want to wear the blue top or the red top?
Yeah, the clothes thing. And I'm sure we've said this before, like Freddie at the moment is so into his clothes, and he'll often be like, can I go upstairs and choose? Can I go upstairs and choose? Yeah. And the easiest thing to do, well, it depends whose house you're in. I know some people would say the easiest thing to do is just let them go and do it. In our house, the easiest thing for us to do would be to say no.
Right, okay.
Mummy's chosen your clothes. No,
okay.
That's it. But, it's, okay, fine. Go and pick something that you want. Or we had somebody come around the other day and it was like 5 o'clock and I'm thinking, you're just about to have your tea and then have a bath or whatever. He's like, can I go and change my outfit? And I was like, if you really want to. And he did. He did really want to. He wanted to go and choose something. And no skin off my nose for him to do that. But in the moment, the easiest thing for me would have been be like, no.
Well, again, I think there's times and places for no's and there's times and places for yes.
Yeah, I need to be more of a yes person. I really do.
But Sophia is definitely, she owns her style now. I cannot buy anything for her. She needs to approve it. So there's lots of things where I'll bring them home. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, I just bought you a new dress. And she's like, that's not my vibe, mummy.
She needs to come and be my shopper because I need someone to be that brutal with me.
She's so, and like, it was the photos day when they were having the still photos, and so I decided to put her in winter outfit instead of summer. And she put on a tie for the first time. She's like, mummy, this is so not Sophia. And she was like doing this round at the top.
No.
This is so not Sophia. And now she loves it.
Yeah.
But, there's lots of things where she's pushing back. And I can't say no because she's finding her own vibe and good for her.
And that's the thing. It's like, we're trying to squash it because we're trying to have that control.
Yeah.
We still want to be the decision maker.
But are you explaining why though? That's maybe one way of looking at it is saying to Freddie, like, not right now because we don't need this extra clothes dirty right now, or we don't want everything being pulled out right now.
I am trying to do that, and I think
that could be
maybe sometimes between me and Rory it flits between an explanation or because mummy and daddy said so. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's hard. And I think Rory and I both have control issues of our own in terms of not wanting to have control or struggling to, one way or the other, however you want to phrase it. That, allowing the children that control can be quite triggering for us. Yeah. Is that we're just letting go and we don't necessarily want to do that. Not for any rhyme or reason. We just don't struggle with it.
So, okay, last question. Ooh. Are you a person, like if we were all together, would you feel so like in love with the fact that someone else took control or not? Like if we were all kind of going out and you just think, oh my God, can you just tell me where I need to be and what I need to do?
Do you know what, right? If I knew you were the sort of person that made good decisions, I would be totally fine with it. But there's some people or some groups you go out with and it's crap and you want to just own it. So you know that it's going to be good. So I will flip between, because there are some people I would go for dinner with and I literally will just be like, you order anything that you want. Like if we're doing sharing, I mean, you order anything that you want, like few bits, whatever. I eat everything. I'll let them do it. But if it's somebody that is like, I don't know, like we always end up in a rubbish bar or something like this, and I know I've got good intentions, I want to go here, I want to do karaoke, I would lead on that. So again, it just depends.
So it depends. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think actually you're right that it depends on who.
Yeah, because my main intention is always just have the best time, have a good time. And if that's somebody else leading it, because I know they'll make a better decision. Yeah. Like the worst thing for me is like I very rarely go out in London and things like that. Now I used to go out there a lot because I've worked there, lived there. But now I don't know anywhere. I can barely get around on the tube these days. When someone goes, oh, where shall we go? And I'm like, I have got no idea. I would literally just be putting a needle out a haystack now. Like, you choose. Like, if you know better, you choose. Yeah. But if it's the other way around, and I'll make the better choice and I'll push on it for sure.
Yeah. I must admit, I'm I'm desperate to have some occasions or things where I just have to sit there and be told where to sit, what to do. But at the like you, there's certain parameters.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I do get decision fatigue, and I'm just like, can someone just come and tell me that I need to sit in that seat and like look at that thing over there, and because I'm just like, I'm so done. Like, I'm so decision spent.
And if somebody else is doing it, you don't necessarily feel bad either because you're still doing something.
Well, that's it.
But they're doing it because it's good for them.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this has been super interesting, I think.
Know. And I think I came into this conversation thinking like we were going to be like very specific types of decision makers, but I think we sort of will all just flex across the board, like depending, as you said right at the top, like what day of the week it is, what mood you're in, what stress level you're at. And we're either like really on top of it, we're either going wild, we either delegate, all of this sort of stuff. So, yeah.
But it's okay. I think the main thing, really to remember is that we are human.
Yeah.
And, sometimes we will mess up, sometimes we won't, sometimes we've got this, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
Is that
maybe we do, maybe we don't.
It's the whole thing about just as long as you've got the right information in front of you, make the decision based on what you've got. You weren't to know that the plane was going to have a problem and that you're all going to get shoved on suites.
But you got guilt though from it, and then you went,
But that's again, it's like allowing yourself that guilt for a second. Don't let it live with you, because again, you couldn't be in control of what happened on that plane. Yeah, fair enough. It was a bastard for passing, but like it is what it is.
Could have been worse. I'd love to know. I'd love to know what sort of decision makers our listeners are. Like, do you
need to come and make us decision? Like, come make these decisions.
Come make a decision for us. Like, do you fall into a certain category, or are you a bit like us, like sitting on the fence? Let us know. We'd love to hear.
Yeah. Well, thanks anyway, and hope we can make a good decision for our next episode, Erin.
Well, I know what a really good decision is now. Have a slurp of this drink.
Cheers.
Well, cheers. Catch you later.